Crochet Creatives, as my friends at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host, Mikey. Today we're going to do the Palliative Care blanket. This is my own design, and this is a repeating of 4 rows once we get moving on this. So from here to here is the repeat, and I just put it in twice. The other thing that's unique about this is that when we start the first row, we're going to come across, but then we're going to join the second color here and then go across. And so both of the yarns will trail each other so that you do not have any tail ends to weave in as you're going. So you're going to cover that over, and then we're going to do a border around this. So this is a multiples of 3 plus 2. So you can either chain 80 if you would like to do the original with the Bernat blanket, which goes really quick. It just took a few hours for me to be able to make this. And the other thing I want to point out is this stitch right here is unique. So I made it in red. So normally they're in groups of 3, but because of the stitch counts, you have to make the last one of this section right here as a 2 and not a 3 so that your counts will line up. Without further ado, let's begin, and I'm just going to be substituting using Red Heart Super Saver yarn today just to demonstrate. If you would like to change out your yarn, you're welcome to do it. I won't know the sizing that will take in order to do that if you're going to change the yarn though. So what we have here is you're going to chain either 80 with your Bernat blanket, or you can do multiples of 3 plus 2. So 1, 2, 3. Big enough, yes or no? If not, keep on going. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Once you're happy with the width of it, it will shrink by 20%. So for every 100 chains you do, it goes down to the length of 80, and because it will compress. Once you're happy with the width of it though, then just add 2. So multiples of 3 plus 2. Let's move on to row number 1. Row number 1, second chain from the hook. Because it's Bernat blanket, I want you to go second chain from the hook, but make sure that there's 2 strands on top of your hook and only 1 on the bottom. It makes a difference with the thickness of this type of yarn. And all you're just going to do now is just work your way across your chain of doing single crochet. So single crochet across your chain, and maybe at the end of the chain in just a moment. Once you're at the end of the chain, pull up a loop, let it hold. You're going to grab your second color and go back to the very first stitch that you started with, and we'll do that next for row number 2. With whatever color you decided to do for your second one, you're just going to attach to the very first single crochet on this side. So just attach it with a slip stitch, chain 1, and now you're just going to single crochet that one plus all of them right to the end to be on top of the last one that you left. So just single crochet across the tops of your last row that you did, and I'll see you on the other side in a moment. Coming across to the other side, you want to go to the very last one where this one's coming out of and just single crochet in. You're then going to pull a large loop, let it hold, and then turn your work, and now we're going to officially start row number 3. Row number 3, you're going to put the white back on, but when you put the white back on, you want it to be the height of the last row that you just did, so the height of the blue. Just take your hook and go into the first stitch and yarn over, pull through and through, so you're like slip stitching into that spot. You're now going to chain 3, which will count as your first double crochet, and in the same one that you've done that slip stitch to, place another double crochet. So you have just half of a shelf essentially. So now you're going to skip the next 2 and go to the third, and you're going to place in 3 double crochet into that one. So noticing I'm not touching the blue at all, I don't need to. Then I skip 2 and go to the third and place in 3 more double crochet. And you keep doing that all the way across, so skipping 2 and put 3 double crochet in. So just do that, put me on pause, and then for those that are ready to continue, just keep on going with me. And we're going to skip the last 2, these next 2 and go right into your last one and place in only 2 double crochet in there. Okay, so that's what it will look like. Don't turn your work, just pull up a loop. And now we're going to pull that loop back on for the blue and we want to pull it to the same height as the last double crochet. Okay, just roughly the last. It will stretch a bit and we'll pick up from this point. So now you're just going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 that you started with. And this will also be a double crochet that's going to go in here. So you're going to chain 3, that equals a double crochet. In the first space right here, you're going to start placing in 3 double crochets into each. And it's going to be the last space before the end is the one that's different, as I pointed out in the beginning of the tutorial. So you just jump the space, go right into the next, and 3 double crochet in. And you keep doing that. So when you're ready for the last space, just put me on pause and we'll pick back up. And on the last space, you're only going to put in 2 double crochet because the counts underneath are slightly, we need to get the counts back to these single crochets. So you only put in 2 there and then 1 double crochet into the last one where this is coming out of. Pull up a loop, let hold, and just turn it. So you don't want to tangle your yarn. So just keep the yarns out of the way of each other and just put the white back on and pull it to the length of the last one that you did. And then we're going to get ready for the next row. Row number 5. So you go to pull to the length and you are going to slip stitch into the first one. Okay, so the yarn will always drag up on the sides, just like you see. And then you're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same one and in each stitch all the way across. So you'll do that for row number 5. So the colors of every other row is the opposite color of each other. And you're going to come right to the very last one into the turning chain, go right into the turning chain. Use the chain work, don't go into a gap space. Once you're into the last one, pull a loop, and then you're going back to get the blue, and you're going to rescue that one, put it back on there, and pull it to the height of the last single crochet you did, and we'll move on to round number 6, or row 6. So in row 6, you're just going to slip stitch to the single crochet right there, chain 1, and then you're going to then single crochet yourself all the way across. So I did not want this pattern to be overcomplicated because it looks amazing without it being too complicated. So you essentially have like a granny square section and then just easy going rows. So it took me a bit for the design to do this. And the reason for it is that I kept getting the counts wrong when I was coming back out of these granny squares. So I figured out what the problem was. And it was that extra stitch I was accidentally putting in the last one. Okay, so we're going to pull up and then you start all over again and you start back on row number 3, which is the same as row number 7 in the diagram. So turn your work, get your last color up and ready to the height of the last one, and then you're going to slip stitch and then you'll begin the next row, which will be the same with what you already know. So you begin all over again. I'll just do this one row only, and you just chain 3 to begin and you double crochet into the same. You skip 2 and then you are going to put 3 double crochet into the next. Skip 2, 3 double crochet into the next. And these line up perfectly with the ones right below of the same. Okay, so the same color you see, it lines right up. So skipping 2, double crochet right into the next one 3 times, and then you go right, skip the next 2 and go right to the end right here. And in that one, there's only going to be 2. So you just have to watch your edges and essentially you're just going to go back and forth to do that, and you will end with the 2 rows of single crochet. I'm going to do that off camera and then show you how to go around. So I'm coming up, let's say that this is the last row of my entire thing. So you just have like a 2 there, so it matches the 2 that you have for distance wise. So you have a couple choices, but this is what my choice would be. In the last one here, just begin by just putting in 2 more single crochets in there. So we have 1 and 2, and just work your way down the side. So you just have to equally space. Look at the distance at the tops of these stitches to determine how you're going to go down. And when you go down, just equally space out the stitches as you go. Okay, make sure you go right into some chain work. And so if the color is not right, for example, I see this blue is covering over the white, just go into the white section and get that blue to be hidden in behind this yarn. So regardless of the color, just going in and just kind of pulling that over so that it gets stuck underneath the border. So then you just go down all the way. So it depends on your level of how experienced you are. It may take you a few tries. So you see how the blue is covering the white? Just go right into the white only, go right up over top of the blue and get that stuck underneath the stitch, and then it's more hidden. Okay, and then go right to the bottom, and then you turn your work. So you have the set 3 single crochet, and then you work along the bottom of your chain that you started with. And you're going to do this all the way around, and I'll be right back in a moment. So make sure you do turn of 3 single crochets in a corner and equally space up there, and I'll see you on the beginning section right up here. So I'm coming 3/4 around, so I started here, and so I don't want to do anything with this edge, but in the very last one, when I come there, I only want to put in 2 single crochet, and then I want to join it to the first single crochet. So you're technically not going along this edge at all, so that you end up with the same color all the way around, just like you see. So this is a more simplified version. You're going to get rid of your tail ends, do what you need to do. Make sure that when you go to do this one was just holding, that you cut it and you feed it through that hole to prevent it from coming undone. And then you're just gonna sew in your ends using a tapestry needle. So any ends that you will have, if you use a tapestry needle with it, just weave it through the same color. And it's better if you break apart the plies, so just don't go between strands. Okay, so you're gonna pull, and the first time you pull, you don't want to change the shape of your project, and then go back in a slightly different path a second time, and then a third time. So anytime you have a color change, or sorry, not a color change, but a yarn change, that would be how you would weave in your ends back and forth a total of 3 times to make that work. And it would be really quite awesome when you do that. So do that with all that, and this is the Palliative Care blanket for you to enjoy.